get more value in USD. As a community, I think overall, as Genesis as such, has been holding amazing. Although there's not as much as volume, but 100% they don't want to sell it below a price. There's like one or two sales probably on an average per week. But I think it's turned into a community or a set of people where they don't want to just dump it just for the sake of just making some quick profits. And let's be honest, life changing money is not $10,000 or $20,000 for most, right? So I think that's where the Genesis has kind of like tuned in. Obviously, we have a bigger task in hand with Gen 2s and Jiraverse, which obviously, like, the expectations will always be higher, because when Genesis is getting some value, you would want a similar value to Gen 2s and Jiraverse. Not saying that you won't get the same amount of value or something like that, but 100% it takes time. Genesis was not built in a day. So anything like Gen 2s and even Jiraverse, like, takes a little bit of time for us to actually bring up like sustainable utility or use case slash regular value that could be delivered. So just wanted to start off with that. Having said that, just a little more updates. Overall, I think the community has turned positive after the regular AMAs and stuff. As I again say, those who are really keen or worried or even concerned about the projects, they at least would have made some time to attend one of the 7 or 6 AMAs we have conducted so far. I think we want to set a standard, not just, let's say, on the finance side of things, but also we want to set a standard from the communication point of view. Any kind of weird questions, we are here to answer. Like, I'm not going to run away from any of the questions you guys are going to post. Anything other than floor, more than happy to, all our team members are more than happy to answer. Um, as such, let me just start off with the Singapore event, because this is the first AMA as such we are having, a little bit, having after the Singapore. We had a really good reflection session yesterday. Thanks to Steve slash Naiku. I think he's a Genesis holder who conducted a really good, like, a 2.5 hour, I think, session yesterday amongst the team as a reflection section. I don't know how many, again, I don't know how many teams are doing all this or taking these efforts, to kind of improvise from every single thing what they do. I've just posted some couple of pictures in the PGAMA chat. You guys can have a look just to get a little bit of a screenshot slash idea of what we were doing. It's basically a teamwork effort. What we were trying to do to understand what went wrong or how we could improvise as a team, and next time when something like this comes up, um, you know how we can better improvise. Obviously, there's positives and negatives as well for us to learn from whatever events we conducted. See, so having said that, we came to a lot of realization. In Singapore, obviously, I think a little bit of our venue choice went a little bit wrong, in the sense we could have probably had it in an auditorium where people were seated to kind of go through a 1 hour presentation and stuff like that. But overall, we also conducted a customer survey kind of thing. Like, I think Aldrin posted a Google Forms to kind of check how, as holders, they felt coming to the event or even listening to the event from YouTube or whatever. It's been majority. It's been like positive response. Like, because the path what we have taken, to be honest, is the only thing we personally feel is sustainable to grow as a brand. Getting other multiple different what to say, like, income streams into the project, because it's easy to pump a floor to 10x, 20x, or 30x. But why do the floors crash back so hard? Just a month back, let's say, Mutant Ape was at 42 ETH, and now it's down by 28 ETH, right? It's not just because of ETH pumping, but it's because there is no backing behind NFTs, right? There's no business scheme. There is no clear, indication of what, as a holder or as a mutant holder or a Bored Ape holder or a Doodles holder, even for Gojira, the same. Like, as a holder, what you guys are going to get is something that's making people nervous and even dump for huge losses. It's almost like I lost $10,000. So even if I'm making $1 back, let me just take it and like run away from this. I don't want to be a part of it because this it's stressing me too much. This is the mindset that that a lot of people have. Even gamblers, when they go to a casino, they burn like $1,000, and then they have like $10 left. They'll be like, at least let me cash this $10 instead of wasting this as well, right? This kind of a mindset kind of exists all across NFTs, especially NFTs. When you lose 10 ETH, you have this final zero point 0.5 ETH. Instead of trusting a particular project that you want to be part of, you just kind of want to dump. Having said that, in general, NFTs are really looking bearish, to be honest. And it's something that I've been speaking to a lot of people from Jan itself in general, right? In general, NFTs are not looking that good because anything without valuations, anything without income streams apart from royalties, it's kind of like always scary, right? You talk about fanny packs, or you talk about like clothings, or you talk about play to earns. Nothing is going to interest the current crowd, because no one has got time to, let's say, participate in all these play to earns, or all these kind of games. So with Gojira, what we are trying to do, right? The first thing we want to set, or I want all of you guys here or whoever is listening to understand that the narrative behind Gojira is like purely being accessible to everybody, right? Right from our mint cost, and right from our from day one, our mint or whatever pricing or mint cost has always been affordable. I would say, I think all of you could agree, even when our Genesis at 0.05 or Gen 2 when it was launched at 0.09, keeping it affordable and making a point that you do not need to, let's say, collect thousands of ETH to grow as a community, as a project. We see what's happening with projects like PXN. People who sold at 2 ETH, bought at 2 ETH, 3 ETH, at 0.16 ETH and stuff. It's I'm not saying that they're not going to deliver, but you saw what happened as such with projects when they collected a lot of ETH or something. So for us, we have always been, pretty calculative with our funding, right? Those who may have missed our Singapore event, just letting you know that we explained about how the funds were used so far, and we only had used like I think 8% of the total funds for 7+ months, and we had generated more ETH than our royalties and stuff in the last few months. Just try to kind of grasp what I said now, because this is really important. How we made those money is through consultancy, Web3 services with dev work and stuff, and also launchpads. So this is just few of our other income streams, right? But extensively, we had been networking with people like high net worth individuals in countries like UAE or Middle East and Southeast Asia. And you may ask, as a holder, how am I going to benefit, and what's the benefit for me? Just understand that we are a startup, right? As much as we would love to, let's say, distribute profits in that sense, to everybody, and make it feel like, guys, we are giving you back the percentage of profits or royalties. Until unless you build up a system or a system of business where it rakes in X million dollars a month or something, there's nothing to give as profits. It'll only last for a month or two at most, and then because you're only purely relying on royalties and stuff, and a lot of legal aspects linked to it. So it doesn't make any sense in that sense, right? In that way. How I want people to look at, let's say, Gojira Genesis, Gen 2, and Jiraverse, right? Genesis, we are working to make them the stakeholders of the business legally. I think a lot of you would have heard me say that Genesis would be the holders of the vault, etc. That's true. Whether it's in terms of the funding or in terms of the amount that we make. But how do we make them legally, is what we are working on. We are looking to be really open about what we are trying to do. We are registering our business in UAE. So initially we thought of Singapore, but then there was quite some complications. So we are registering our business in Singapore, which means me, Amresh, and G, and few other people from the team might move to UAE full time, as a permanent move, for us to have the zero tax and easy financial, whatever, being an institute or something. And how we are going to distribute, this is purely long term. Please try to understand, a business has got to make regular income for it to be, to give any profits. Okay, no point in giving out like point 0.1 ETH a month or something right now. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, you give like 33 ETH or 300 ETH for like 2 months, and then your your royalties are burnt and it's pretty much gone. What we had been doing with the fund so far, right? You might be, I can understand the frustration what some of you might have. Shan, you told this is gonna come. Shan, you told Monopoly game. Shan, you told this and that, right? And nothing has been delivered in whatever we spoke about. Which is, I'm ready to have an open conversation about this, right? Absolutely, it was, we didn't wantedly prevent ourselves from launching any of the products what we told, but we wanted to just test the waters, right? We wanted to see how the market is changing or behaving. Let's say we spent 300 ETH to build the Monopoly game and 200 ETH to build whatever other things that we spoke about. Now it would have been irrelevant in this market. So what would have happened is we burnt our funds. We do not have funds in our wallet, and the product what we delivered is crap or unusable. Not crap in terms of the delivery side of things, but rather crap in terms of the actual, how many people have time to let's say play a game or something at this moment. So it definitely gave us a while to see what was happening in the market and how market changes every fucking single day, and how other projects, like I love Llamaverse in the sense that they deliver almost everything in their roadmap instantly. But then you see what's happening in terms of NFTs. They don't, their floor is not at like 10 ETH or 5 ETH or something, right? Why is that, right? They're delivering every single product what they're claiming to make. And as much as they're delivering, the way the market works is entirely different. So you just end up burning your funds. You deliver some product which in like 2 months when you deliver, from the time you claim, either you're front run or it becomes irrelevant. So this is what we wanted to change, and this is what we had been working on for a few months. And we announced in Singapore about our different income streams, right? Spending money for different income streams. Why is this important? Tomorrow, when you look, right? Let's say there's 1% chance that NFTs crash even harder. And let's say all the NFTs are gonna crash really hard, like the 2016 crypto or something, because to be really honest, it's very much possible because there's no backing behind NFT. Tomorrow we have a finance AMA, so you'll understand what I mean by backing or what I mean by P by E ratio, and all those things, right? Sack attacking, and this team is going to explain few things. But it's really important for you guys to be smart investors to also understand what does it mean for a company or a project to be profitable on a regular basis. Okay, it's really important for the company to be making more money than what they are spending. If our monthly wages are like 1.5 ETH a month or whatever, and we are spending, let's say, 30 ETH a month or some shit like that for wages, we got to be raking in at least 50 ETH or 60 ETH a month for the business to be called somewhat profitable, right? Operating cost, so it's basically like your total cost, total profits you make minus the operating cost is equivalent to a company called being called profitable or useless, right? So we have to realize that we are a startup, right? Startups mean that it's exactly what it means. Startups mean that it's a completely new, brand new idea slash product that's trying to come into the market, right? And what it means is basically they're using your funds, okay, your money, what money you guys paid us for mint or paid us through royalties from secondary, is the funds that we're using to build products, like which could be services as well, like SaaS, which is the direction that we have taken. Taking equity across different products, right? Like what we announced, like 8080 tool, or the U unicorns, this thing, the three verse. Every single product that we announced, we have an equity in without having to spend money, right? We leverage our reach and our connections, and we get equity back, right? Like 30% to 70% equity, even Infinite Studios, our Web3 devs and stuff. What do you mean by equity, right? This is something I think I realized the other day when I had an impromptu AMA, that most of them do not know what's an equity, right? Equity means having a share in the project. Okay? Equity means you get a percentage of profits to your wallet. Okay, so that is what equity means, like literally like shareholders. So when I say we have an equity in Infinite Studios, that means that if they make 100 ETH profit, we get 30 ETH back. But what you got to notice here is that every single announcement we made about profit taking or the other revenue streams that's coming in, we do not. They have a separate team. Okay, they have their own separate team doing it. So it's not like where we have to spend our resources or anything. They have their own team of 10, 15 people, smart people, building the product like tools, or separate team building our Web3 and stuff. We just help them with marketing, we help them with reach, and we help them with advice, and we get a percentage of equity in that project. Because without us, they pretty much are developing some amazing projects, but they do not have the means to bring it to the reach of say 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 people. So this is where we come in, and every single product we announced, we haven't spent a single dollar so far, and we have been getting equity purely because we have been leveraging our reach and our ideas and connections, and we have been getting equity from that. So if anybody's got any doubt about equity first, before I proceed to the next stuff. So I hope over us here understood what equity means first thing, right? Second thing, you could ask why Shan, like why do you want to come into Web3 then? Like why didn't you do this in Web2? That's a question that's it's a valid question. So if you want to just do or move towards like services and stuff what exists in Web2 or in real life, why do you want to come into Web3, and why do you want to run a project in Web3, right? This is a. I don't think anyone's asked me this right question. The only questions that people normally ask is like, why the fuck is the floor 10 ETH or something, right? These are the questions I want that as a community for us to think and start questioning each of us, right? Why Web3 instead of Web2? First thing first, as the way we started Gojira was purely as an art-based alpha group. That's why I didn't quit my job like till like 2 months back. And once I quit my job, we had a lot of traveling and stuff. And pretty much this week was my first week as a full-time Gojira staff. So when we started Gojira, it was not intended to be a multi-billion-dollar, like, or the target to be that level. Being honest here, we just started this. We wanted to give a lot of value and whitelist and share alpha amongst us and stuff, and it worked really well. And I think we got one of the highest allocations of whitelist for a lot of projects, and we gained a lot of name and reach and stuff. But after that, we saw the dedication shown by the community, because this is one project where every single member of the community, of the team, is from the community, and none of us had met each other till Singapore. I think some of you already know this story. So it's an amazing narrative to the brand building as such, picking every single one from the community, and for us to you know purely build this entire brand slash Gajira, purely with the love that the community had, right? um, because everybody, like take G, or you take Josh, or you take even like Amresh, everyone has been like as a holder of Gojira, and they had like real life skills, like sack attacking slash Ken is a real life CFO, right? And he's been in finance industry for like 20 plus years, his experience is more than my age, right? So these are the people that from the community volunteered to quit their job and come into Gojira full time. And that's when we realized we have grown into something bigger than what we assumed or realized ourselves. Initially we just thought like NFTs are like, okay, it's just something that's going to stay for a while. And then we thought, okay, it's a okayish technology slash development. And then we realized it's much more than that. So that's when we started taking it a little more seriously, like 3.5 months, 4 months back. Jamie quit his job first, and pretty much went full time into Gojira. And we thought, like, why to waste these connections? Like, there's a lot of people that respect us, right? Why? Because we're one of the transparent. I can't argue that we are the best project in the space, but I can easily get on a one-on-one, you know, um, challenge with any other project in terms of transparency and financial management. I don't think there's any single project that's even close to us in that sense, getting, like, in terms of the pay rates or in terms of working for the future, with the funds what they collected. So we thought that we realized that we have grown into much bigger than what we had assumed or what we realized at a point. So the main thing what we wanted to do was build network, right? It's not what you do; it's who you know. It's a very common statement that people make. Okay, so we got to understand that if today, okay, like let's take a random person here, Stinky, for example. I'm just picking up a person here, and he's got an amazing idea, right? He's got an amazing idea, and he wants to build a product out of it. Okay, but he doesn't have the resources, he doesn't have the connection, he doesn't know where to start. But the idea is amazing, for instance, right? This is your platform here, right here, like where your team is accessible. You get into DMs with us or fulfill the form or whatever once we post it. You're gonna get, like, it's not just Gojira behind you, right? It's multiple people that we have connected with over the last few months that are behind you. And this answers the question, why, Shan, why do you want to come into Web3 and not Web2? Is because the connections what we have got in Web3 in the last 6 months is probably like fucking made things 100 times easier than doing anything on Web2. I cannot imagine being connected with Damak Properties. I cannot be imagine connected with 10 plus billionaires in a span of 6 months. So if you have an idea, right, we are here to execute it. We are here to help you. We are here to get you the funds, 5 million, 7 million, or whatever it could be. Either myself, or it could be from the angel investors or VCs, whoever it could be, right? So instead of us being, a community where, oh, what's happening, what's next, and stuff like that, we want to build a community where there's two types of people. One who just wants to hold because they believe in the vision of the project, and number two, and this is the most important set of people we want to attract, builders. Okay, builders slash people who have ideas. My simple belief is that if you can think of something, it can definitely be done, right? In some way or the other, right? If you think of an idea, it's definitely something that's possible to execute it. Leave that to us. Okay, you come up with your idea, you're gonna tell it to me, or you're gonna fill in the form, we're gonna go through it. If we think it's amazing, just for giving the idea, you're gonna have equity in that project, right? So this is the kind of direction that we wanted to take. Plus, we wanted to keep this thing about uh, income streams and stuff, going on as well, where we don't have to depend on royalties or anything. Just a simple fact that our launch pad has got like 400 plus ETH into our vault, slash, our kitty, than just royalties and mint price. This is one of the income streams what we had or what we started even without advertising, right? So that's a big win for us. And let's not forget the amount of whitelist spots we got. I do not care about if you're going to be like Shan, like, I didn't win this or this project died now. But just think of how many people were able to mint Mind Blow On or Mystics or any of these other projects where we got like solid number of whitelist spots because we were helping them and made at least $500, $1,000, or $3,000 from the whitelist. We got the highest allocations for multiple projects. It's not a coincidence, or it's not just an easy thing to do. Just go and check. Okay, you guys think Llamaverse and Gojira is being compared, for instance. They didn't get PX in whitelist at all. For meme land, they didn't get meme land. Why did we get 100 plus whitelist spots? It's not because we just go and approach them and be like, guys, give us whitelist. I spend my time. Our team spends their time. They give more than 8 hours, 10 hours a day, where we help these new projects and we offer our time in return for this whitelist spots instead of getting paid ourselves. Okay, this is really important as holders for you guys to understand the kind of leverage or networking what we are doing in Gojira, right? because when new projects come in, irrespective of even 9gag CEO or whether Beamland, there's countless hours of chatting slash meeting that goes into a project where they learn from us as well. Because you know how many Web 2 projects have failed launching in NFTs and stuff. They pretty much just keep like tanking hard, or people don't even mint out. So it's not that we are getting these whitelist spots and looking at, oh, Gojira is just a project that gets whitelist spot. But just remember that we are converting, instead of getting paid for our services, we are asking them for a mix of pay and more whitelist spots. So this is something I think we hope people also see the efforts. That's kind of put in. So none of this is one of the teams where we do not we do not take whitelist and prevent you guys from making a lot of money. You can go and check my wallet. You can check all the wallet, the accounts or the list of wallets that we post that win whitelist. You find on a regular basis myself or Jamie or Amresh or G to be on it. I'm ready to give up whatever I've got in my wallet. We don't take every single whitelist. Every project out there, I can almost promise that's the way they run. Every single member from the team, they take whitelists, right? I'm not saying it's wrong, but we have been working in a way where we're trying to give as much as value back, and this is just short-term value. All right, just remember that. Okay, it's a short-term value in the sense, like, it's not like we want to run Gojira just based on whitelist. When products are being developed, how else do you expect a project to give back value to holders? Right, we cannot be paying you because we have to use all the funds to develop. We cannot be I don't know what else you expect. There's two things: education, right, and whitelist in terms of making money. Education to make you a better person slash trader, with the help of people like Josh or myself or whoever in any aspect. We try to help in whatever limited knowledge we have got. And also at the same time, whitelist allocations where like 10% or 15% of the holders win these allocations on a regular basis. And let's not forget that we are not even 1 year old. I mean, I think Gen 2s are not even like 6 months old in that matter. So if you say that, or if you think that I've never won something, it's not even 6 months for you to claim that, because you buy a Gajira at 1 ETH or 2 ETH or whatever on a regular basis. To make a 20% or 30% per annum of ROI is hard. So even in 1 year, you win like two whitelist spots. That's gonna get you 1 to ETH a year. Just think of the ROI in that sense, right? I'm just giving this purely a different perspective for people to think in terms of numbers. So that's something I hope, like, as a community, we all like become more educated and we understand what's happening. And now we're gonna. I mean, this is purely, I'm gonna put the blame on Jamie. I don't know if Jamie is here. I've been asking for the artwork for to make the forms, and he's been pushing the artist team to get the artwork done. But I think Arcade Boy fell sick because of COVID or something as well. So we are just delaying the form that we promised a little bit later, the feedback form. This is not just going to be a typical feedback form where you go like a Google review and be like, oh, Gojira is shit or this product is shit, but rather we want an answer from you as a person, or as a community. Guys, this thing is something we can do. This is something missing from Gojira as a brand. Let's do this. But also a paragraph, a small paragraph explaining how this can be achieved. Because it's easy to tell, guys, do this, do that. But you as a person also has to understand, how do we achieve this? Okay, is it achievable as a team? We are not superhumans here. So that is the form's main purpose, to present an idea, also give a little bit of direction of how you think this could be achieved. And I'm no one to stop this. Okay, I really love people who give feedbacks, and that's the way you grow and you learn as an individual as well. So once that form is out, I want you guys to jump in, just give your ideas, and also how we can potentially implement it. And trust me, if we implement those ideas, you will be rewarded heavily, right? It means maybe a free Gen 2 or a Jiraverse or $100 or $500 or whatever it could be. we want to reward people who give like good ideas, and where we have to grow as a community as well. So first thing, as a promise, our entire team would be at your service. We'll be available. You tag us in the chat or you send us a DM, whatever it could be. We want to first wanted to set the thing right, and I think the last 6 days, I think overall, I hope most of them could agree that in terms of communication, we have upped our game, which has been the problem in general for this thing. I just see a question here: is there a limit for ideas or form? Absolutely not, because we are just gonna brief. It's like a elevator pitch. If I don't know if you guys have heard of it, this is just a theoretical assumption that you get into an elevator with somebody like Bill Gates. He doesn't have too much of time. There's only like 30 seconds before his floor reaches up. How would you convey your idea and convince him to invest in you, right? That's the kind of pitch that's going to be in your form. So you gotta be the requirements obviously is going to be you got to be a holder, at least a Genesis or Gen 2, or at least a Jiraverse holder. You got to be one of the holders, because we want to first address or give priority to our holders. Maybe later we might open it to even like the general public, right? So Jiraverse holders is also would be taken in, but obviously Genesis would be given priority for any of these things, followed by Gen 2. And you know don't feel this thing. Worst case, you can just randomly put it in the chat, and we see it's amazing. We're going to get it done. We're not going to be like, oh shit, you didn't follow the process. We're not going to follow this idea. You will be rewarded for that, as I said, right? So I have an idea that will be great to get Gen 1, Gen 2 to fly to the sky. Just fill the form, right? Once we set the form, fill it. 100% I'll go through every single idea. Me or the team will go through every single idea. Because remember, guys, like we are not like guys with like 500 or 300 IQ or something like that. We are people who just want to do the right things. Okay. As a project, as just like a person, we just want to do things in a right way. That's it, right? So we want your help as well as a community for us to grow, right? The reason, just understand the reason why we are taking less pay or less this thing is because we do not want anyone to feel like any different to us. I hope. I mean, I don't know how to put that. You shouldn't feel like, oh, Shan's a founder, like he can do whatever shit he wants. Absolutely not. There's so many people that I want them to feel like every single one is part of Gajira here, right? We are a movement, not just just a fucking NFT project just randomly launched. So I want us to feel that no difference as such, right? You guys gotta feel like this is your project. You get an idea, you come up with it. If we feel it's good, we put it for a vote, and if the majority feels that it's a good idea, let's go for it. And if suppose the idea gets rejected, don't take it personally, right? It's the majority. Not every time it doesn't mean that you have a good idea means that every single person in this world has to accept it. So Shark Tank, right? And sometimes some of the projects have been rejected by the so-called geniuses, right? There's so many projects that have been rejected by all the 4 or 5 judges in Shark Tank, and those have gone to do $1 billion trade, or become $1 billion business. So it's not to for you to feel bad that, oh shit, this idea was rejected, but just take it. Don't take it personally, and just feel like, okay, this is what happened. Let me come up with some other idea. And just remember that if one idea that you post is amazing, you're going to get just equity for nothing. You're going to get like 20% or 30% equity for that idea for us to develop it, doing nothing, just providing the idea. You don't have to spend time, you don't have to spend your money, but just an idea where we didn't think about, or like some kind of process that we never thought about, and because of which we are able to build a profitable sub product. You're getting 20-30% equity out of it, just by sitting, right? So this is pretty much how I want Gajira to be. Right, coming back to updates, right? So I think we posted about how we didn't have an in-house dev team, and now that we got. So 100% we make sure that we would deliver our tools and our marketplaces by quarter 3, right? I think even earlier, much earlier. I think Jamie can correct me if I'm wrong, but our team has been pushing and they've promised us by end of this month at most, for the gasless marketplace, which we rebuilt from scratch, by the way, because of our screw up from the previous dev team, and also this thing. What is it? Our tools, which I think should be ready by this month at most. I don't see any reason for it to be delayed, and stuff. And I'm just gonna pretty much just show our UI for our marketplace. I think just a small leak for those of you who are here. I've posted in PGAMA. So we want to set even the standard even for a whitelist marketplace. So I've posted in the PGAMA for you guys to have a look. So that's the UI. It's not just a. This is not just a mock-up. This is an actual product, and we are improvising even on top of this. So this is purely just a whitelist marketplace, right? And gasless, right? So you'll see how the gasless stuff works. You can do a lot more when this thing is out. Okay, we can do a lot more stuff easily. You don't have to pay gas and shit. You just put your Jira tokens in at one time, and then imagine the kind of things that you could do when it's gasless and stuff, right? So we want to start delivering products, which is Gojira's own. Okay, no more outsourcing. Okay, I think I already, if any of you had seen the announcement, it has to be a product by Gojira, for Gojira, and the NFT community, right? We still will have public raffles, public use cases and stuff, but this would be leveraged to much more later. Much more than just a whitelist marketplace and items marketplace later. But I hope you guys kind of like the UI design and stuff what we have done. So this took time, obviously, but we wanted to make sure we don't release a subpar product, which I think we have grown to a point where we cannot afford to launch a shitty project, right? So Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are expecting the tools and the marketplace maximum by end of August, right?
Yeah. Some our timeline is September 1st, but we're gonna
Mhm.
keep close to
Okay.
that.
All right. We are
Obviously, you
sticking.
need you need bunch of tests to go before, but
Yes,
yeah, we're
yes.
getting there.
See, the
Yeah.
thing what I want to inform you guys is that we are not wantedly delaying it. This this market for Dante and Chubby too. They will also be able to use. But we have done a very smart thing for them how they earn their tokens. Only Gojira holders can withdraw their Jira to sell it in Uniswap. Anybody or any other partners, a lot of them are going to use, they can only send Jira one way inside our marketplace. They can deposit Jira, but they cannot withdraw Jira. Okay, their earning would be a backend token. Okay, they can buy Jiras from Uniswap and deposit in our marketplace to use it for the public marketplaces or even their own marketplace, but they cannot be dumping Jiras ever, right? Jira tokens. Only Gojira holders will be allowed to claim the Jira tokens into their wallets to dump into Uniswap if they want to make money, right? So this is the idea that we did, and I think it makes a lot more sense even for them as because we are taking up all the stress from them for launching tokens and bringing this unity amongst different projects, etc. So they won't be devalued because they still can use their tokens across the Dante's marketplace, which will be a section in our marketplace and also in the public marketplace section, right? Probably yes, can trade whitelist spot as well. Absolutely. It opens up so much of possibility, guys. Like being gasless, right? It's almost like you go to a casino, you pay $500, you get digital chips. Okay, digital chips into your digital machine. Just imagine what will happen after that. You're not moving to Polygon, you're not moving to Arbitrum, you're staying in ETH and purely just depositing your tokens into backend. Now, this is a thing that we want to leverage even for ETH, where you deposit your ETH and you get ETH as a backend token. And just imagine the possibilities what can be done. Paying 0.001 for a raffle or gamble or whatever it could be, right? So yes, we can make apps for the markets. Absolutely. So it's going to open up so much of possibilities for us, and this is not a dream or something. This is 100% reality. We tested. it's 100% on track, and we should be getting it, by max, as Jamie told, like by September 1st or before. But let's say for safety reasons, let's say Q3 at most. Okay, or Jamie is gonna give his Genesis Jira to one of you guys if it's not.
Yeah. I
So
just wanna mention something that Sean mentioned about, like, we created so many great connections with big influencers, big people in the space, even in Web2 space and all that. But at the same time, we also created so many great connections, relationship with developers and builders, thinkers, and all that. So this is something that we definitely gonna leverage in the future. So we're gonna build a lot of cool things. Just want to say that.
um, exactly, and this is a builders community, and you want to be an investor, just invest and forget about it. Don't turn back. Just come back after a few months, a few years, or whatever. But if you want to be a builder, which is what a lot of them want to be, it's going to attract so many people now, because how many DMs we get asking Shan, like, can we pay something and get a call with you guys, or can we get connected to devs and stuff and all those things. And for just being a Jira Gen 2 holder, as a minimum, you're going to get access into these. And for Jiraverse, at this stage, we probably will be allowing, if you hold like 10 or 15 Jiraverses or something like that, because I think people have tanked the floor without even understanding what Jiraverse is at this stage. So I'm not going to blame anybody. But at this stage, it's going to be like you need to hold a minimum number of Jiraverse to claim some benefits, like Gen 2 in terms of developments and stuff. Like if you want to contribute certain things or get equity out of few things. Right. Moving on to the next one is obviously Jira Tank. This is where the fun part is. You as a community and holders can probably, I think Steve has worked out a model where you could pay some Jira tokens, okay, and pledge rather, or burn, or whatever you may want to call it, take some small equity in the project that we pitch in Jira Tank. Okay, you love a project and you think the idea is good, you want to be a part of it on a bigger scheme, pay some amount of Jira tokens that we'll be announcing per project or whatever, and you get equity out of it, right? And let's say we take this in under a Jira Tank, we get equity for our vault. We get equity slash profit sharing for our vault. And I think Meta Moon, I think some of you might know, Meta Moon is one of the projects that will be one of the first ones to pitch in our Jira Tank. Second one would be, I think, what was it? Uh, I forgot. Anyways, so Meta Moon would be one of the projects that would be kickstarting our Jira Tank, right? And here you have a chance to just get a equity out of the Jira Tank's project by just pledging Jira tokens. Okay, you don't have to put your ETH or something, but few of them who pledge their Jira tokens, they get like say 1% or 2%, which also means that from the mint sales you get the 1% back or 2% back or whatever. So projects what you personally believe in, right? You get a chance to for you to be a part of another project in a percentage basis. It could be like 0.5%, 1%. They collect 1,000 ETH and you have just 1%. That means you make 10 ETH back. So these are some of the benefits that we would be getting for projects that are launching through Jira Tank as a holders. So anyways, so someone's posted here, no forms, fuck it, I'll say it here. What's the opportunity of bringing my health and fitness? I want to assist with bringing more value back to the project for whitelist. I've won in Web3. I've been bullish. I've been a fitness professional. So this is why we put this form here, right? So Sav is going to be conducting from next week. There's going to be a Jira Fitness Challenge. So Sav's been a fitness influencer as well, and winner gets like one Jira Gen 2, right? It's promoting both health side of things at the same time. We're going to track some progresses, how people are progressing. So you could make money at the same time, also at least like use these guys to gain some health tips or benefits slash dieting or whatever, because these guys have been in this field for a long time. I think we have a lot of Jira muscles here, like I think even like Tata, or even like G, or even like even I think Josh. I think there's about like 20 to 30% of Gojira Genesis holders, especially who have been, and Relic, Maverick, all these guys are fucking like huge ass machines. So, we want to try and leverage somewhat their experiences and, into this Jira Fitness Challenge, like a tips section or slash whatever. And the best person who followed it or, who gave the best efforts. I think Sav is working out how to do that in a better way. Can win like a Gojira Gen 2 or even just for participating, win some whitelist spots and stuff like that. So, once we, you know, yeah, Amresh, I think Amresh is the best. He's got the best body out of the entire Genesis holders for sure. Like, I think it's fucking like impossible to get as ripped as Amresh. I saw it first, and especially when we jumped into the pool, I saw how much of water was displaced. So I can vouch. So yeah. Anyway, so we want to just bring out the elements of mental health, fitness, other aspects as well. To bring in like real, legit, things that are needed in real life, and combine that with a little bit of whitelist spots winning or Jira tokens or Gen 2s or whatever. At the same time, have a little bit of fun, right? At the end of the day, we got to remember that Web3, the reason, or main one of the main differences between Web3 and Web2 is the community aspect, which is missing when you trade like a stock trader or when you trade your cryptos. That aspect is pretty much, missing, right, in Web 2. So which is also something that taps in, like, how many relationships have been forged here, how many people have you met that have helped. Even a simple gesture like what Bones did for I think Zyle at first. He's a Melbourneian. When he just posted about he's hungry or something, he sent a pizza to his house. you know a simple gesture like that, like, these are all the connections that we are building, right? um, um,
Shan, explain to them the pledge process that you like, the innovative pledge process that we've made.
or you mean for the Jira tank or
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the 72-1W.
minting pledge process.
the Jira tank one, or the new contract what we developed for
The new
pledge?
contract. Yeah,
Okay.
well, it'll be used for Tank, right? So
Yeah, that's right. So so there is going to be, okay, so this is something, right? um we have developed with our devs from Infinite Studios. We have developed a contract called ERC 721W. Is it, Jamie? Right.
Yeah.
So where it allows people to participate, for raffles and stuff, where you pay or it upfront, takes up the mint price and stuff like that, zero point 0.1 ETH or 0.05 or whatever the project could be, and then raffles and automatically airdrops NFTs to the winners, and then the other guys who didn't win gets their ETH deposited back into their wallet. So this will purely be on a vetted basis, right? But really, projects that make sense or who want to fundraise, or if you really want to support a project, this method of no grinding, nothing but purely, participating in like a, it's similar to pre-mint, but in a sense where it takes up your mint price upfront and then refunds it back and airdrops you an NFT as you win, using Chainlink, this thing, like, automated, raffle system and stuff. So it's purely fair system and allows people to, almost like a fair airdrop, without having to kill the project, because just there are multiple flippers and stuff who do not want to just proceed with the project because of looking at the floor or something. So it's purely going to be, a new contract that we would be implementing for few projects under our launch pad and stuff. So
Hold on
absolutely,
one sec. Let me take a screenshot of everyone in here. So if someone tries to front run us, we got evidence.
no, I think we developed it already, so I don't think they could steal that thing or any of the ideas. I think, right. So, anyways, so it's as much as we have to move towards, like, let's say making new income streams. It's also important for innovation that actually makes sense. Innovation by not just fucking like dropping more collections, but innovation by actually bringing in products that, in general, that the people or general holders would want, and not just stick with just the NFT community, but trying to bring in people from crypto and non-crypto backgrounds, right? So as I said, one of the things we are doing is merch, and the merch thing is going to be accessible for every single person out in the space, where you could buy the merch with say crypto or with Jira tokens or with Mastercard or Visa or anything, and it's going to be posted across Instagram, Twitter, or anywhere with all the influencers, where people don't even need to know that this is an NFT project or a Web3 project for them to buy a product that's being launched by us. However, any of the partnerships that we develop or build with say high tech web 2 projects, and we drop a merch collection, that's going to be only accessible for people with Jira NFTs, which makes people inquisitive. You love our product, now you see on the top, let's say Jira X Adidas, for instance, and it keeps like scrolling on the top. And as a normal web guy who doesn't know anything about crypto or NFTs, you're gonna see that, you're gonna click it, and you're like, oh shit, there's a 500 limited edition by Gajira X. More reasonable one would be say something like Puma, for instance, or even like or Under Armour or something. And this guy wants to get it, he can't get it, so he learns how to get it. The learning is going to be there's going to be a video of what is NFT, how to get a MetaMask, how to get these things in done. This for us is more about adoption than like what it is right now, because let's be honest, your parents or your uncles are not going to be in the mood to learn how to start up a MetaMask or something and stuff, and you know do stuff from scratch, right? So for us, bringing in more people means we go on logical methods or logical means, which is normally bringing using, like when we talk about connections, a lot of projects talk about it, but how do you leverage the connections apart from Jira Tank, where you're getting access to millions of dollars now, right? I'm not joking, guys. This value is something that's in real life. If people from Web 2, you guys go and spread about Jira Tank, and yo, if you just be a Jira holder, you have a chance to pitch your idea and get some $1 million to build your idea because this idea is amazing. This is a huge opening for people, because it's not just about the money, because anybody can give money if they're rich, but it's about the connections, right? It's about the connections what you have developed. We are very well respected, nobody can deny that, right? Nobody can deny that Gojira is one of the most respected projects in the space, because we are so transparent. No PA is also transparent to an extent, but tell me one project that's transparent even about the founder's salary. Tell me one project where they are just getting paid 1.5 ETH a month and they're open about it, right? This is the level of transparency slash communication that we wanna want people to, we want people to start demanding other projects for this kind of a transparency or communication, what we did in Singapore with our showing our vault and funds. What Ken is going to explain tomorrow exactly about our funds and stuff. For those of you who are interested, I would really recommend you to attend the finance AMA tomorrow, because it's not just going to help you in NFT, it's going to help you be a better financial manager even for your your IRL funds, right? Okay, so I think enough of updates. For starters, quarter 3 is going to be 3 verse compete to earn game. That's the 3 verse one, and it's going to be our tools, which is going to be accessible for the public mostly with Jira tokens. Number 3 would be our gasless marketplace. Fusion as such, the delay, please understand, is not wantedly, but we just want to make sure the market is a little bit more decent before we launch the Fusion, because you can understand Fusion is going to reduce our supply. So we want more advocates for our project, which means we want a little more holders, than reduce the number of holders. 100% it's happening, 100% it's happening, but we just want to make sure that the you know it's everything is fine. So Jira Tank will be in a day or two, not a week or month. Jira Tank's form will be in a day or two. Suggestions and feedback form again will be in a day or two. So these are our short-term this thing. And for those of you who do not know, we do not have something called as a roadmap. The reason is because of the ever-changing NFT market. However, what we announced in Singapore is the income streams, and we're going to stick to that. There's no changes to that. right? No more testing waters, no more waiting to see how the market reacts. But after being in this market for a while, we realize that these are some of the products that will make a lot more sense when it launches. And there's going to be some surprises as well, because always there has to be some speculation that's going to drive the hype and in the marketing side of things. So this is pretty much what I have to say at this stage. No info at this stage about Evolve. Evolve is completely different to PG, and it's going to be a separate entity as such, purely a separate registered company, and it will have its own separate utility and different target audience. So I'm not going to talk anything about Evolve yet. We'll have a different Twitter Spaces or something for that. But Evolve is going to be under the Jira group to facilitate and help PG as a brand to evolve and develop as well. So I think that's all I've got here, and I'm going to answer some questions as we I think about an hour now. So I'm going to start answering questions. Someone's asked, what is Web3? Okay, what bothers me about Jira? Okay, what bothers me about Jira, and it's not Jira fault. The respecting is that a lot of projects still never have got Jira on the list of blue chips. They still have NanoPass, Cool Cats, and Flores have gone up a little bit down, and not always about the floor price, but a lot of projects have forgotten us. Okay, so this blue chip concept is, I think a lot of you probably know would be about me or about my tweets. It's kind of like really stupid. People faded Google, people faded Amazon, people faded every single best Web 2 project out there now, because if everyone thinks it's the next big thing, it'll be overvalued. Okay, just remember that if majority of the world or majority of the population thinks that this product is going to be the next big thing before the product even is out, that means the product is already having so much of expectations, over expectations, which leads to overvalue. That's why we see PXN, although called as a potential blue chip, is at 0.16 ETH floor now. Doodles coming down 80% from their all-time highs, right? Compare that to us, for Genesis, we have down by like 50% or so in this market. Right? And also, let's not forget that when you consider a peak of a floor price, you got to consider that all the Genesis got 3 Gen 2s. Okay, let's not forget that. So it's not, you can't take Genesis as a 25 ETH floor. It's a 25 ETH floor minus 3 Gen 2s, where Gen 2s peaked at X number of ETH. So subtract all that and see where the Genesis floor is. So a lot of communities would fade a project like us because, one, we don't have VC backing or something. Two, we didn't sell at a high mint price, so there's no bag holders or people who got burnt that they have to try and get their money back. So there's no need for them to keep calling it a blue chip and pump it up and then escape. Most of the guys who keep calling a project blue chip are the guys who want their project to pump so that they can exit immediately. The real builders or the real guys who want to be invested in a project don't even know what's the floor price, which is what's happening to a lot of people in the Genesis chat. They don't even know what's the floor price. You ask, I'm not just making this up. A lot of Genesis holders are here, they can vouch for it. They haven't even looked at the floor for a longest of time because they don't care. $10,000, $20,000 or $30,000 is not changing a lot of lives at this stage. They trust the process, they trust the system, they want a community to hang out, and they just choosing Gojira. So in my opinion, this blue chip and all those things are nonsense. If it's a blue chip, Doodle should have held a 25 ETH floor, Mutant Ape should have held a 40 ETH floor. It's all flippers, wash trading, and all those kind of nonsense happening at the end of the day, right? So except Bored Apes to an extent, I don't consider anything else as a blue chip for me. You gotta exist for 4-5 years, be through multiple bear markets, survive, come out strong, keep developing and delivering. That's a blue chip, right? So if people fade us, they fade us, right? We cannot, go and convince all of them. At the end of the day, we are looking at not 300,000 holders. We are looking at 3,000 holders. It's a matter of time where 3,000 people, have the same wavelength and start jumping to a project like ours, and for us to grow. So that's where our education slash the founder slash holder connect is really important. Why do I have to come out on a Sunday night, or why does Josh have to come out on a Saturday night spending his time with the holders? Because we value this project, we value you guys, your money, what you have put in. That's why we think you guys deserve to know where your money is going. So If that's what's going to define blue chip just based on being early or being a cool cats or being like a PXN or nanopass as posted here by Tom K, like majority of the projects. I don't think it matters because as we develop our income streams, it's obviously the smart money is going to come in because there's going to be a lot of people who are seeing what's happening in the NFT space, calling it a gamble and stuff. Remember when you buy at 30 ETH or you mint at 3 ETH, it's not easy to let go and sell at zero point 0.6 ETH or 0.16 ETH. So you always will be holding bags, hoping that, assuming that it'll always go back up, because I did the same. Like with Bloot, I bought a lot of Bloots at 2 ETH and I was like, yes, Bloot is gonna go up, and it never went up. And I still hold it, because it's really hard for me to sell some. I know you know your gut feeling. Most of the time, it's right. Okay, don't let your FOMO come in, but your gut feeling would be like, PXN is probably never gonna go back to 5 ETH. More often than not, some kind of gut feeling like that is always right. So we are gonna do an organic marketing plans and stuff, recruit more smart investors from web 2. So majority of them call us not blue chip because they hate our art, especially the Genesis. They think that how the fuck can something like this be valued at this. We have proved time and time again that it's not about art. It's not. You don't have to be a 10 on 10 art. We are showing that Genesis 333 holders are showing that we do not want to list our Genesis under 10 ETH. There's so many people ready to buy Genesis if it's dropped even a little bit under 10 ETH or something. So this set of 300 people is much more, I would call, they are the real blue chips, not the project, right? These 300 people plus the Gen 2s who are holding, they are the real blue chips of the fucking, the space. So at this stage, I would say blue chip means it's the holders and not just these projects. So yeah, right. So next one, did I stop and wait for Gina Tank? Chibon, do we all get a spot in Evolve for Jira holders? I think it's going to be something similar to how the Jira was worked, because we always believe in giving back value to our holders, but yeah, I think Jira Evolve at this stage, just no, don't take it as this thing, but it's probably going to be a pledgement with Jira tokens for you guys. So it might be limited, it might be one per holder, or it could be one per wallet or whatever, but it's gonna be probably a pledgement for Gen 2s, and Genesis obviously gets a free mint, and we would like to give back value to our holders. But Evolve, first thing first, we want to build the hype. You're gonna see some announcements about Evolve or the projects what we are partnering with for Evolve or whatever, and treat this as a separate entity and not compare it as Gajira Genesis is at this floor, so Evolve cannot be bypassing this floor or something. So you would see some kind of separate announcements, separate partnership announcements, separate things going on for Evolve, and then we'll come back to how the Genesis or Gen 2 how they get whitelist or whatever for Evolve. What is Web3 for you, and how do you define Web3? Before I tell that, I think there's one statement I want to make. We are early to Web3, but we are not early to NFTs, right? So there's a big difference in that. So I hope you understand what I mean by that. So we are early to Web3 as a technology. We are not early to NFTs as traders. Okay, there's plenty of opportunities in the space. Not saying no, but just buying a project just because your friend told or your family told or some random guy made $100,000 is not going to work anymore, right? You got to participate in Twitter Spaces or VCs. You got to find the vibe. You got to feel where you belong, and you buy something. Choose a project for it to be your permanent community for starters, and then start doing flips or stacking ETH. I'm going to dump a lot of my NFTs. I'm going to probably hold maybe one or two NFTs at most, just purely because the community is not toxic, because that's really hard to find now. I can almost challenge how many communities you go and chat and they're pure toxic and talking shit about other projects or talking just about the floor. I can almost guarantee we do not talk about a floor here. Starting with Genesis, Gen 2 had kind of was a little bit different at the start, but then now we are getting tuned up. And Jiraverse at this stage, their only focus is on the floor. I can understand, but that's also going to change stage by stage. So it's I really don't think that we are early to NFTs. We are early to Web3. So what is Web3 for me? Networking. As I said, like having a when you buy into something like Adidas, a stock, you do not have this kind of a one-on-one interaction chance with the founders as a stockholder or a shareholder or a as an investor. Web3 is a point where you have this chance. You have me or the other team or any other project you hold. I hope they if they have some VCs on a regular basis, you get access to the team through Twitter or social media or through Discord, which makes a huge difference, to understand what a project does and stuff like that, right? So for me, Web3 is purely about community networking and leverage, right? So this is what we are trying to utilize at this stage. There's no other utility for Web3 at this moment. We could just give this whitelist and games and stuff, but at the end of the day, you can treat whitelist as a startup. All right, you can start you can treat Web3 as a startup at most, and you want to build or leverage your idea. You got you know Web3 to elevate that or get it done in a shorter time span. As I said, like 6 months back, I didn't know anybody. Now I'm connected with multiple 10 plus billionaires, a lot of big shots that I never thought I would even like meet in my life. And I realized that when I went to Dubai or when I went to Southeast Asia, getting connected with real estate moguls. So for me, 100% that's how Web3 is and how it can be helpful for people in the future. The utility, what I feel Web3 is going to move towards, is not yet ready. So apart from being a startup, I'm imagining Web3 as a like a real estate document for your housing, as a documentation proof, a blockchain as a technology to be used as a permanent or lifetime access to, let's say, like football stadiums or matches and stuff. Chance for you to collect digital memorabilia or something, like some digital souvenirs. This is how I, because that's a huge market in itself. Let's not forget the souvenir market or the collectible market. But how do we, for all this to happen, we need mass adoption, and for mass adoption, it has to be easy, not just where you start your MetaMask and go and do it. Because if your parents can understand NFTs, that's the day I think we are ready for mass adoption. The day your parents can easily understand what's NFT and they can use NFTs on their day-to-day basis as a membership token, or as whatever, like as a membership token, or as a collectible or something where they understand, that is mass adoption for me. So till that period, it's just going to be stuck with a limited set of people. Let's be honest, how annoying it is to log into a ledger or log into a MetaMask and then prove ownership or whatever, to get access into something or whatnot. So till it's become easier for us, like how we are using our card on a day-to-day basis, like PayPass or PayWave, where we just tap our card and we get whatever. Till then, we need a physical card probably, which has got your NFT data in it, and you just tap the card and it reads your NFT data in the backend and states that you are an NFT holder and allows you access. Yeah, that makes things easier. So just giving an idea. So that for me is how Web3 could be useful for people. Yep. What else do we have? What snapshot for is connected with CD5? So there's not just going to be one snap. Okay, there's not just going to be one airdrop. There's going to be just purely for people who at least have taken this time on Sunday. So apart from, I think someone's already posted here, it's going to be CD5 airdrop from the snapshot. Plus, we're going to be airdropping some whitelist for Yin Yang and other projects for some of the people who have been holding pretty longer and who haven't listed and shit like that, just to reward people who have held long term. Also, there's going to be another airdrop of another token, which is pretty decent amount, I would say. Like all these tokens, even if you consider something like $60 or $100 as an airdrop, 3,000 people, you can see the value. So there's going to be like few airdrops as such. So one of them is, yes, connected with CD5. One of them is connected with another product that they're launching, and I think we are the first and exclusive uh, project that they're tying up with. So they've got VC fundings and all those things, and so there's already, if you get the airdrop and you dump it, you can make at least, I think, $50 to $100 maybe, or even more. So that's one of the few airdrops that we are working on with few projects. Right. Any other questions? I'm just saying, hold the Jira and looked up any Gojira series on Marketplace. I put in a few bits. Let me see any other questions. Base is heavily influencer based. Base is not just heavily influencer based, it's heavily VC based, right? So a little bit of insight of how VCs work. They see some projects and they think it's got potential. They come and take a percentage of equity. They buy the floor from multiple different wallets, and they keep buying, because for them spending $1 million doesn't make any difference. They keep buying with millions of dollars. The volume naturally pumps up. People start buying at the higher levels because they see volume and trade regularly happening. And VCs together, they dump and they make the money because they bought in early at 2 ETH, 3 ETH, and they sell at 7 ETH, 8 ETH. And then they keep doing this process. So VC backing means VCs and owners win. It means the holders lose most of the time. This is something I know because I've even got some, like, I can't post about these calls, but I've got like insider calls when Azuki was at 8 ETH, and I was given a target price of 28 to 32 ETH. That was before the event. And if you go and check some of the wallets that's been buying, let's say, this assumed blue chips, you can see that is the first time these wallets are ever buying any NFT. They straight up buy these assumed blue chips, and within 4 or 5 days they sell it for a small loss, okay, or they accept the wrapped ETH offer. When that happens, you pump up the volume, you do everything, and you only have a small loss, which is nothing, like 0.2 0.5% OpenSea fees, and some small loss. And there's always a volume pump, and people just follow the volume because they only keep tracking all these tools and stuff, and these guys know that very well. So all these random shit projects happening, I'm not saying that I'm part of it, but I know groups that are part of it, where they, as as a group, they go and buy it, they pump it, dump it on you guys, and they make the most money, and the ones who lose are you, right? Because you do not know when the end point is. Azuki, it was perfect. I got, like, I'm just giving an example, right? I got to know it was 28 to 32 ETH, but obviously I cannot be using it, or I do not want to use it on public, and it's gonna be, I could be thrown out of the group, for instance, because it's a learning experience for me as well, being a part of the group. But you see how calculated their dumps and how calculated the buys and stuff are. And not gonna lie, but we have been offered those kind of deals as well, at one particular point. It all comes down to what you as a founder or as a project creator wants to achieve in life. That's it. So it's not just about getting VC fundings, or just being called a VC backed. But you need to understand what VC means. It means it's a gamble. You get in early, you get out early, you're fine. You get in early, you get caught, you're caught forever, right? There is not 10,000 people active in NFT space right now to buy blue chip 10,000 times over. So just do some bit of logic. There's not that many people to constantly keep buying. Just think what's happening. Is there really 10,000 people actually buying this rare pips or rare apip or whatever nonsense? Or is it actually one person with 50, 60 wallets trying to just buy at lows and constantly shill it and pump it? Just think about it. If legit there are 10,000 people to buy this 10,000 items and then constantly keep doing trading for 300, 400 ETH every 12 hours. So it's up to you guys to think what is real. It's just weird that after 1 year, people don't put Gojira on the list. It's not 1 year yet. It's just been 6 months. Technically, And let's not consider Genesis yet, because Genesis started in end of December. But at the end of the day, Genesis is still, at the time we weren't even known to a lot of people. So we got to know, maybe by Feb or March at most. So let's not worry about what others think. But they can't ignore us. Why? If you think others are ignoring us, why are we getting the whitelist spots for all the top projects? Just tell me that. If you think that we are being ignored, why are we getting one of the highest allocations for projects like Yin Yang or Meme Land or whatever? How do you justify that we are being, ignored when we are getting one of the best allocations of whitelists in the space? I just want an explanation for that, if you want to come on stage or something. So I know I can understand what you're saying. Like, these guys are fading us and all those things. As a holder, it could be frustrating. Like, it's almost like, guys, see what the fuck this project is doing and what are you doing. But remember that a lot of them bought, as I said, like, they minted a lot of projects at super high, right? They obviously want to pump it up because they hope that it pumps up. How much ever you pump up, there are few projects that can never pump up. Like, what's happened to, how many of you are here or who has minted or bought Subtux, right? How many of you have bought Bass Deluxe? Anybody here in the chat, right? Yamar. So just tell me in that period how it was touted to be the next blue chip, right? Um, it was touted to be the next blue chip, and they're dead now. Do you really think they can ever make back to a 1 ETH floor even? I don't think so. I can almost bet it's impossible unless some massive shit happens. And nowadays, celebrities buying is not even a, this thing. So it's purely the blue chip, and all those things are just how many alpha collars dicks you're sucking. If you suck too many alpha collars dicks, they probably would be talking about your project in every single YouTube channel and stuff. And obviously your project is well known. Even the shittiest of the projects is pretty much called like Goblin Towns. Where the fuck did it even come from? Like, I know the marketing and stuff was good, but let's not forget that it's purely a combined influencer pump, because I'm part of a Twitter group where when it was 0.2 ETH and these guys were buying in like bulks. I don't want to put names, but they were like, guys, let's just buy and let's set the floor for these things and stuff. Some really powerful people, let's say. Right? So so it's all about this thing about blue chip and nonsense is purely about how many influences, stuff you're gonna go and do shit. Right? So if you do that, they're gonna give you a lot. That's why I like Dante, because one of the few guys I personally feel who's legit, because all these so-called influencers, they just pretty much just keep dumping your whitelists or NFTs or stuff. They don't even know what the fuck you're doing, right? And Dante was one guy who, imagine all the guys, Kosher or all these so-called big influencers, they dumped the Gojira Genesis from 1 ETH to 2 ETH without even knowing what our project is, except Dante, who took some time to understand what we are doing and he's holding. So all these influencers are here to make money for themselves, not for you. Okay. So so I would say, like, just this blue chip nonsense. I know, Tom, I really appreciate that you love us, and you feel that people are not valuing us that way. But just think of the whitelist spots what we get. They're not fading us. It's just that they're not trying to go and lick our ass by just posting us 100 times, because they don't have anything to gain at this stage. All right. So that's the point that we gotta pretty much remember in terms of the blue chip talks and stuff. Um, questions we got here. Well, sir, it's dumb luck for me. You share more about a partnership with CD5. Of course, I think that's a good one. So, for those of you who do not know, CD5 is pretty much one of the biggest, IDOs launchpad for especially gaming ones. I think they Twitter, without doing giveaways and stuff, they have like 700,000 followers. It's up to you how you want to interpret it, but they are and were one of the biggest ones, and they've been in crypto for ages. Right, not just some project that launched recently, but they've been here for ages. backed by a lot of VCs, backed by people like Alex Becker and JRNY as well. They've invested in it. They allow, so basically what is an IDO? It allows you to buy a token before it's launched in like some exchanges or something, so you can obviously make a lot of money, right? Like almost I made so much of money back in 2016-17 because of IDOs. There was a huge craze. So they have I think 100% success rate for all the tokens they've launched so far. Okay, you can go and check their website, cdfi.fund. So I'm posting here. So cdfi.fund is something that I posted here, right? So they have, if you go and check their previous drops for tokens and stuff, it's almost like it's called IGO or IDO or ICO or whatever. These are all for tokens, and they pretty much have been 100% successful, and they make a lot of money out of it, right? So what we have partnered with CDFI, and we're trying to keep it a little more, you know, secretive at this stage because they want to launch these tokens and then announce our partnership. We will be their complete NFT advisors. Okay, just like how you have people here, like Alex Becker or JRNY or whoever in CD5, we'll be their entire, for NFTs, we'll be their, advisors slash, due diligence report checks slash joint drops and stuff together, where we'll be getting a percentage of the sales. So, let's say they drop a project X and we are co-dropping with them, we're helping them with advisory and all those things. We get like a percentage of sales. Plus, we get paid for each project that we do due diligence for. Okay, so due diligence means they get a lot of projects that want to be part of CD5's launchpad. And what we do is pretty much we go, because they do not know a lot about NFTs, so we go, our team, one or two of them, I think RNA is heading it now and Stenzod is helping us. So these two guys will go through all the their socials and their utility and stuff, and we make a document and we present to them. We get paid even for that, and if it launches in their launchpad, we get a percentage of the sales. So for those who understand, it's pretty huge, because now you're looking at people who are going to get into NFTs, not just from the NFT background, but people from crypto background. So that's a huge number of people that we are looking at. If you go and check their Twitter as well, it's not like a typical NFT Twitter. So these followers mean that they didn't just come in for whitelist giveaways, but actual people who are following. So the number of people that have got that's got eyes on CD5 is a lot. So if any project that wants to come to our launch pad and we want to launch it with CD5, we get say 50-50 of the sales. The percentage of let's say, like, normally we take 7% or 5% of the sales of a project. So with CD5 together, we'll be launching a lot of NFT projects, right? Which will be available to new crowd, a new set of people from the crypto side, because anybody who holds a CD5, they'll be able to participate in the whitelist and stuff. And CD5, anybody who holds CD5 almost always buys their allocation, because they know it's the cheapest possible price before it goes public. So that's pretty much our partnership with CD5 at this stage. And this also gives us a lot of other reach. As slowly we can kind of maybe give you guys some IDO opportunities as well, like for those who are interested, buying some new token launches, giving a little bit of allocations to Gojira holders, because now trust me guys, it's not easy getting or convincing people like this who have big in web 2 to be like, guys, partner with us and let's be the only unique partner with you for NFTs. It's not an easy thing to do. I hope people also understand, it's not easy to convince them. It took a lot of effort from our end to convince them to partner with us, because we have a lot to gain than them at this stage, right? Because we are just a web3 semi-known brand versus CD5. It's pretty much a well-known brand amongst the crypto community. So yeah, I think that's the thing with CD5. Can we participate on IDOs? You can participate on INOs, but IDOs, they're airdropping the SNFTs, right? SNFTs will be airdropped to all Gojira holders. That allows you to participate on a raffle, right? So it's not every time you'll win, but you'll get a raffle, a chance to win some IDOs and INOs. Yamar, the people want Kajira whitelist when? You give me some number now, we'll pick up some 5 or 10 people. from the chat. Anybody who wants to come on. All right, let's do this. Yes, does CD5 have exclusivity with us as the advisory at this stage? Yes, 100%. They haven't given it to anybody else. And if at all anything, it will be of projects of similar level like us, like, or higher floor or higher value than us, because JRNY and Becker are, pretty much involved in CD5 from the start. And they still prefer to go us with advisory and not JRNY. So that's a win for us. Anyone wants to get on VC and ask a decent question, just a decent question. I'm gonna get you in Yang spot. Like, I'm gonna add you to in Yang spot. I want to encourage people to talk. Don't feel shy. Just come up and fucking, like, if my voice is not the best, and I had a lot of insecurity like months back, but now I'm fucking, like, just going on and on. So you guys, you don't have to feel shy about anything. Just come on stage.
Hey, Shan. I posted this in the chat, bro. It's a D's again. Hey, I just want to know, like, in regards to NFTs, like, what's your long-term view of what an NFT is going to represent, and do you think it will still remain fully decentralized if crypto still remains pegged to, crypto coins still remain pegged to USD? Like, because I know a lot of people or projects, I guess, are thinking outside the box of how to link Web3 and 2 together. But yeah, do you think it will still keep its own decentralization if that does occur, while crypto is in the place that it's currently in, still pegged to, a US dollar or whatever it may be?
So personally, right, the problem is many of them start a project and then decide what to do. Right. So the people whom you're seeing as people whom you're seeing here as founders at this stage, I'm not saying everybody, majority are just starting a project, collecting funds, taking some percentage to their wallet, securing themselves for 3 years or 5 years of their life, and then they think about what to do, and then they come up with some stupid games or merch or something, right? Having said that, full decentralization, I don't think is going to be the best point for mass adoption, right? I think it's going to be hybrid model, right? Although I love decentralized thing and I like to take full responsibility, and I would like to keep my things as private as possible. For adoption and for mass adoption, you do not want people who get some, say, let's say amnesia, or like, some kind of Alzheimer's or something, and be like their entire net worth completely gone because, it's a seed phrase and no one can help them. There's no bank, there's no legal system, nothing to, recover back. So if you think in that sense, it's really scary for a lot of people to accept 100% decentralized a system. So I don't think a full decentralization is going to be a possibility, but a hybrid system where it's going to be decentralized, but possibly one or two organizations that you trust, like banks, like, some other new form of banks that might evolve, could be the one that could retrieve if you can answer some security questions or prove that, it is whom you are and stuff like that, where only then they could go and sign. Maybe something like a multi-sig in a different scheme is what I'm imagining. Like, where you want to claim it, you gotta, they have like this two keys, like how they have it for bank lockers. You have one key and the bank manager or somebody has another key. So you gotta have both the keys to unlock your locker for high, level of security and stuff. That's pretty much what's in the banks. So I think something like that is what I imagine, like a service or a decentralized or this thing semi-decentralized in a way where your privacy is protected, like something like Swiss Bank in a difference, in a sense, to be honest. But you also see what's happening with something like Tornado Cash and stuff, and it, it's a service, where people got arrested because they assisted in money laundering, and they didn't directly assist in money laundering. They just created a as a product that allows people to, like, transfer funds.
I think that's been banned as well, eh? Like over in the States, I know
Yes,
they've banned it because of obviously it was just
this is
scrambling
exactly
money that
why
they were putting in and spitting out.
yeah, exactly why I hate this concept of non-decentralized thing, and which is why I love decentralization. Imagine if Tornado was a decentralized entity not operating from the US and kept it quiet. Who the fuck are they going to go and arrest now, right? So This is stupid. I think people got to start taking responsibilities for a lot of decisions, for what they're doing in life, right? So similarly, I would say, a percentage of the money or funds could be decentralized and a percentage could be semi-decentralized. Either ways, I personally feel it's going to be much better than how the banks are right now, giving us like 0.5% interest per annum or even lesser, but then charges x 3 or 4 or 5% for loans and 14% for personal loans, which is stupid. You cut all these middlemen out, release a blockchain bank, maybe regulated to an extent. Just imagine the number of people that are cut off and the amount of profit as a holder that you would get. So this is how I see the future, right, of blockchain. Okay, this is how I see as a semi-decentralized network for starters. Like a blockchain bank, but still, people have some control over it, but not too much control over it.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thanks for that.
No problems,
Hey,
and I'll add you to this thing.
Um,
Not
can I
whitelisted.
ask
So
a question?
I have a question too.
yeah, go for it. Who's
Okay,
it?
so I do not know if this has been cleared already, but I'll just ask in case it hasn't been. So when I bought Godzilla Gen 2 about 3 months ago, my
Mhm.
friends suggested that there's a suit in case there's a and which is regarding the title Godzilla and the copyright has been in question. So, is it clear now?
I mean, that's
It's
why.
all
See, there was a fake delisting that happened because of some random, this thing that was going around. So that's why we got delisted from OpenSea. And we have a really good law team, right? A really good legal team. We haven't done anything. We haven't breached any of the conditions. Our artwork has been purely from scratch. We do not reference or we never called ourselves Godzilla's derivative or anything. It's inspiration. So it comes under, free work, or it comes under what is the exact term? I forgot. Jamie, what is the term they told? It's
inspired.
pretty much. It's more like it's a freedom to
Is it fair
um,
use?
not free to use exactly. There's
No,
a
fair use.
it's a legal term, which falls under where it's a fair use kind of thing. It's a fair use of the model, right? So I think nowhere, a Godzilla or anything was displayed. In that sense, kaijus have the same thing, to be honest, in the sense, like, kaijus kind of have the fins and they've got this thing just because of our name, because we are not called Godzilla, we're not called Gojira, or I mean, what of Gojira, the Japanese one. So that's the reason why we were able to prove it and come back on OpenSea, because OpenSea treats you like guilty until proven, and you have to provide all these, law, this thing, and from your lawyers and stuff before they bring you back. It's not easy to come back. So we, from the beginning, what we started, it's we are inspired by Godzilla's, right? But in no way we claimed us. The only problem would be when we start claiming that we are Godzilla's official derivative, something like that, and we try to make money out of it. That's going to be a problem. But we never did that. We purely brought this thing, and in fact we even rebranded as PG for that, just as an extra set of caution, in the sense, like, anyways, we wanted to do it, not just because of this. So us being rebranded and registered as PG is purely, completely moving away from just being the main. The lawsuits are mainly only if you're trying to deceive people and trying to rip off the actual original company by trying to make money, right? So in our name is purely not registered or not held by anybody else. Our artwork completely done by scratch by Jamie and Arcade Boy and other people for Gen 2s. So in no way we stole or took or any art or any name, or just use the same this thing. Mighty Goji, there were projects like Mighty Gojiras or Zillas and stuff like that, which of pretty much just ripped off the name straight up. So that's a different kind of a thing. So ours was purely a fake DMCA claim that was done by some amazing well-wishers, and it's easy to take down any project in OpenSea. To be honest, right? There's just a form you can take down or Llama versus or anything right away just by stating that you have I'll post the form if anyone wants to play around with it. I don't know if I should, but it's not that hard. You just go and search OpenSea IP DMCA, and there's a form. And once you fill the form, anybody can take down any project out. So it's just kind of stupid. Maybe not many know about it, so it's kind of like it's not happening. But it's pretty easy to take down any project.
Thank you. And do you think
Shan,
there could be a way to clear this confusion amongst the people? Like, there are some people out there who are not in this project who are still a bit concerned about this fact. Maybe an announcement or something.
I think those. I mean, I'm. If you got any suggestions, I'm more than happy to do, because one thing is us coming back live on OpenSea. I feel is the biggest proof. OpenSea is a fucking like not a small. It's a legal entity, so it's not easy to just fool them when they got a DMCA claim. We had to put all these efforts to prove. So in that sense, if you think, or if you think there's something that we could do, I'm more than happy to do it. But personally, some people are not buying is because they don't know exactly what we do, because there's nothing like a white paper or something as such, which at this stage we are not really, as I said, not really concerned about. The aim is not just to keep selling more and more, because at some day there has to be a stop. Just think about it. How many times or how many people are going to keep buying, and shift of hands is going to take place? The aim what we are trying to build is, if this was a crowdfunder, okay, how does a crowdfunder work? You pay them $100 or $200 or $1,000, and your money goes into it, and they build it, and you cannot sell it during a period of year or two or three till the product is out. And then once the product is out, you get like a percentage of stocks or share or profit sharing or whatever that could be. So we treat this in the same way, and as long as we're not dependent on the royalties, at the end of the day we are an entity as such. We got the funds, we are working on it, we are building products, we are building SaaS or services, and we are moving forward. So worst case, we are not even dependent on the royalties to an extent, right? At this stage, absolutely not. Our consultancies or whatever and other things, and like merch or whatever that we're going to drop, plus the tools, whatever that could be, so far has already proved, like with just the consultancies and web3 and stuff, as I told, like 400 plus ETH from that. So that's definitely kind of, um, how do I say, like shown us the way that we don't have to depend just on royalties, because depending on royalties is like Ponzi. You sell to your friend finds another friend, and the friend finds another friend, until your friend cannot find another person and he's stuck. So personally, not too bothered about, if at this stage, if people are not buying because they think that this can be a good flip. But I would be concerned if people are not buying after listening to our AMAs or VCs, and they don't understand or they don't want to buy it. um, that's when I would probably be concerned. You attend this AMA and you feel like, oh shit, Shan, I don't think this project is what I think it is, and you want to sell it. That's when I'll start getting concerned, to be honest. But we won't let that happen, because we are allowing anybody to come up and speak, and not banning anybody because you're asking the right questions. So if there's some way you think that we should be doing to make sure that we are clear of this DMCA thing or whatever, more than happy to do it. But I personally don't think that's what's stopping people.
Yeah, no, my question wasn't about people not buying. Honestly, it was just about, because these friends, they did warn me that there was an issue, but that warning was before it was not listed on OpenSea. So I do understand your point, and yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
that,
it's
that time everybody was scared, and to be honest, most of the projects could have died. Due because of the DMCA claim. Not many projects have made it after a DMCA claim or a takedown. Not many have even made it back, or not many have got the, let's say, the community holding strong during that period, because that shows how many people trusted us. As I said, the worst case, right? Gojira can just change into the metadata could just change into some crystal rock as a PFP or something, and we still can do what we are doing. PFP is just one of the elements, right? But that's not what's defining Gojira as a brand. It can just be a tomorrow. It can be a pure artwork that we can just add drop to all the Genesis and Gen 2 holders, and just purely, let's say, like like Evolve, for instance. It's a purely done artwork from scratch, not inspired by anybody. It's done like from scratch. At the end of the day, not everybody's. I don't know how many people are here for the Gojira's or art. Let's be honest. right? I don't think I would have ever bought a Gojira Genesis because of the art. I would buy it because of the community or the team behind it. So
I
I
love
think
that.
most. Sorry. Yeah, I don't. I mean, as I said, I don't know how many would have bought Gojira Genesis because of the art. So, in that sense, for me, it makes a lot more sense for us not to be concerned about that thing as a worst case. Because if again, if there's going to be an issue, which I don't think there will be, because I think we have taken all the measures, we have got all the filings and everything done with OpenSea. We showed and we proved, what our artwork, how we have done from scratch, and it's just an inspiration and it falls under free use. After that, even after that, let's say some big shot wants to come and fuck us up, fucking doesn't matter. We can just change the metadata to a different art entirely. Like it can even be a fucking frog. It doesn't matter. No one's bought it. I'm pretty sure Genesis, no one bought it because of the art. That's a really good testament, to be honest. Because board apes tomorrow, people bought, some of them or a lot of them bought because of art. And tomorrow, if that racist thing is being proven, which I think already board apes have started changing the traits and stuff. And if Netflix is actually launching a documentary, like it's like like the rumors, what's going to happen to the project? It's gone. Because it's a big thing. Being a racist art versus using an inspire art, where one big Web2 company is going to come and like take you down. I think we are big enough, and already Godzilla is inside NFTs. If you see, Godzilla has already launched its own NFT, so it's not like they haven't heard of us or something. And even if it is them who launched the DMCA, we have given the proof, and they couldn't give a counter notice after like 14 days of time. So just for those of you who do not know, Godzilla has launched its own this thing as well. So launched its own NFTs. So they couldn't do well or anything, and they can't do shit, because we are not. We are under the fair use. I think that's the one. The fair use is the word that I was looking for.
Hey Shan, this is Vico. I just have a question. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep, yep, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Just circling back to to our identity as Gojira. We started off with that low supply 333 Gen 1s, and then later on launched a Gen 2. This has actually, served as sort of like a structure in the NFT space, and now we see more and more projects really launching like a low supply first Gen 1 and then Gen 2, even
Mhm.
down to copying, like, of course, our initial plans from before, even down to what you guys released in the SG meetup, like those revenue streams, like the launchpad. My question is, what do you think will keep on differentiating PG? Of course, as a holder, I have my own personal answer, but I'm really keen to see yours.
And it's a good one, actually, because this is the kind of thing that I want people to ask and think, what's going to differentiate PG, right? We want, this is not easy, guys. Let's be honest. How many of you would be, ready to be building a product that's like, pushing on transparency plus innovation, plus not taking profits, us working as a startup by taking as little as possible, like at 1.5 ETH a month as a pay, us where the community comes forward to volunteer, and now we have a 44-member team, and every single one has been picked from the community. Um, I think personally that's a huge differentiation for me. Show me one project where there's transparency. Show me one project where the founders do not steal so much of money. I would call that stealing, because that's literally stealing that's happening. Taking 50% or 60% or 70% of the mint funds. One project where the entire team is built from the community, with right people from the community, with who are actually passionate about the project, who came to serve Gojira for free, and then right now on a coming and working full time. What differentiates, let's say, Facebook and Orkut is the passion, right? And apart from the tech, because I think Orkut came first, Facebook came next. But Orkut was pretty decent. It had all the features like Facebook, but the passion slash vision what Mark Zuckerberg had varied from Orkut Beneguten's kind of push. Google was big enough, but Google's own social network couldn't compete. Similarly, you can take the biggest example as Google and Yahoo. The Jerry Yang and and the team from Yahoo, and the team from Google. It all differentiates. The main differentiation is the passion, slash, how badly do you want this to done, right? How badly you want to establish your project as such. Would you be able to survive as a project where if the founder or the team is not getting paid, they reach a point, let's say we reach a point in 6 months where we use up all our funds and we're waiting for our products to click, and let's say we have $0 in the vault. How many projects are going to call bankruptcy and run away versus how many projects are going to stick around even if it's zero pay for the team? 1.5 ETH a month is as good as zero for me. Okay, as good as zero for Jamie, as good as zero for a lot of team members in Godzilla, right? So tomorrow if it becomes zero, it makes no difference for us, right? This is what's going to differentiate us. But how many projects are going to just be like, guys, we are run out of funds and we couldn't find anything, I'm really sorry. I don't call that rugs, please note my term, right? Projects, just because they're quitting doesn't mean they're rugs. Okay, they just are a failed project. Okay, they tried but they didn't try it in the right way, or they didn't have the right measures. Rug is completely different to a failed project. Okay, so having said that, this is what differentiates Gojira. None of the team members are working here for money. Everyone's working because they want to have their voice. They want to bring in innovation, bring in passion, bringing in their passion, and even you guys as a community members, like what you threw in Manila, and what you guys from like Don Aldrin, or what Brain has been doing by bringing IRL collabs, leveraging their own products. Like Brain brought in his own bottles and giving discounts. Bones as giving free food for people in Melbourne holding a Gojira and stuff, or inviting people to his place, right? That differentiates. I don't see a lot of these kind of things happening in any kind of community. Um, Supreme or Louis Vuitton has got its value because of its holders, right? Tomorrow, because at the end of the day, I've got some LV, I've got some Gucci. At the end of the day, if I feel comfortable in Adidas NMDs and Reebok shoes than wearing a LV loafers or LV shoes. This is the truth. But it purely comes down to who's holding what. If at the end of the day, if Gojira holders feel that the community what they are part of, or the team what they are being, what who's leading them, if they feel it's good, we are the LVs of the space. So at the end of the day, it's not are you, if anyone can argue, like come and argue, like how in what way are LV products better than another some simple thing, like let's say Charles and Keith. I feel that Charles and Keith has got a better product quality for a purse when I buy for my girlfriend than a LV or a Gucci, for instance. It's got more compartments, it's got more use cases, but LV is making a statement out there. Like we do what we do, and we still have people out there. The point here is that it comes down to community trusting a product, and if community trusts the product is the Supreme or LVs of the space.
That's a powerful answer. Thank you, Shan.
Hi, Shan. Can I ask a question?
Yes, can I just know your name before you start in
James
this?
T.
Okay, James. Yes, go for
Yeah.
it.
I want to ask regarding the CD5 and
Mhm.
Gojira partnership, how will it work? Because from what I know, now CD5 they, if you want to get allocation, you have to stake CD5 token and stake for how long? Will the partnership be like if you stake your Jira token or you have hold a Jira token, you'll be able to participate in the IDOs?
No. So CD5 partnership is they're launching something called as INO, initial NFT offerings. Okay, across chains, in Binance chain, across whatever chain. They're not limited just to ETH. So there are NFT. They're launching their NFT launchpad as well, right? But it's going to be accessible for people holding CD5 tokens. So just like how you get access to I've just posted here, it's called INO, right? Like just like IDO, it's called INO. Let me just post the link here.
Okay.
Yeah, I posted the link here.
Oh, so it's oh, I understand. I understand.
Yes. So these products here will be accessible for people even from crypto space who do not have any clue about NFTs. But because of CD5's reach, They can just buy like $100 or $200 or $300 worth of NFT allocations, similar to how tokens work. Mass adoption in a different scale, because this is the first time a crypto launchpad is coming in to launch NFTs. So this part is where we have, let's say, a small percentage of equity, like 25% to 30%. So any project launches there, they raise some money and they get 5% or 8% of the sales. Out of that, we get 25 to 30% of that thing, right? So if you sell a product and you make 1,000 ETH, let's say 8% comes down to 80 ETH. Out of that 80 ETH, we get 25 to 30%. You know, so, and apart from that, we do the due diligence for all the projects. So any project before it goes on CD5's INO, we are the team that's doing the due diligence report. So we give them a report stating whether it's good or bad or shit or whatever. And then they take a call to whether launch or launch it in their INO or not.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand now. Thanks a lot,
I
Shan.
meant that we can leverage later, little while later, to try and also get token launches for Gojira holders. So it's not that hard, because at the end of the day, they just want money, right? And we be like,
Oh,
give us 10% of the allocations to Jiras. You guys can buy it at 0.05 ETH of tokens. I'm talking about tokens, which normally does a 5 to 10x as a minimum. I think those of you
yeah,
in
yeah,
IPOs know about it. It's an easy
yeah,
money. You
yeah.
put $100, you make $1,000 just like that instantly, right?
Oh, so we also get access to
Yeah, we are
the tokens,
yeah,
not
pretty
only
much.
the I know. Wow,
Exactly.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Exactly, because for them it's also a different kind of leverage for them. They don't have to take the entire burden of fundraising now. You guys can treat it as a gamble, or you guys can treat, if you want to use it, it's up to you. But it's just throwing a $50 or $100, and 99% of the times, IDOs do a minimum 5 to 10x decent ones. Like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
minimum. Sometimes
This is
they've done
crazy.
100. I've
Yeah.
done crazy money from IDOs by just buying IDO allocation of $100. I've made even 300x in a single
Holy
night,
shit.
because you're
That's
buying.
crazy.
They sell tokens at like $0.05 per token, and when it
Yeah.
launches in Binance or Uniswap, it straight up shoots to like $3, $4 for like 3 4 hours before it
Yeah,
settles
yeah.